God put me in a situation, I know he's going to bring me through it. So you guys, this testimony is going to be how God upgraded my studio that I was renting for work. So my last testimony about how God brought me from being homeless, I told you he had blessed me with a studio that was $200 a month by the grace of God, because I was looking for a place closer to town, closer to where I was living, and in a better area. And there was nothing wrong with the area, but I just want a better area, especially with the clientele that I like to attract and for the services I was doing. So I remember calling all these different places, and everybody was full, everybody was booked. And this one place I called, I did not know the price when I called them. I just called them, left a message just to see if they had any availability. And I remember they had a waiting list. I called them and the first person was like, it was a couple months out, like for the next half a year or something. Like it was like a full, like maybe 2-page waiting list. Somehow my name ended up on the top of that list, and they called me. They called me and was like, hey, we somehow came across your name and we want to see if you want to come in and look at the place. And I'm like, absolutely, I would love to come in and look at the place. So we scheduled that. When I called them, I think it was prior to me getting the place I was already in. A month and a half or so went by because I got my place that I'm already in doing my work in December. And I remember being on the phone and calling them, I think at the end of January. Exactly a month and a half. I make the appointment, I schedule it. I remember exactly where I parked when I got out the car. And when I was walking to the building, my phone rung. I had my watch on, and so like I just like tapped it, so it stopped ringing. So I go in, I look at the building. She showed me the room. I'm like, okay, cool, amazing. Showed me the room, go down the hall, tell me all these things. All the people are nice and great. She starts telling me the prices, how it's gonna be. I think it was like $300 plus a week, and all the different things that will have to be added on. And so I'm thinking like, okay, we're going from $200 a month to almost $300-400 a week, and I'm still building my clientele. Yeah. So I just paid the deposit for my last place, first and last minute rent for the place I'm living in now, and then I would have to do the same thing for moving into this studio. So I've learned to not look at a situation based off of who I am and what my pockets look like, because I know who my God is, and I know He a limitless God. so again, if God put me in a situation, I know he's going to bring me through it. So with that being said, after she told me everything, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not putting myself down. I'm not thinking I can't afford this. I leave, and as I'm leaving, walking to my car, I think I put my AirPods in or something. I'm listening to the voicemail either in my car or walking to my car. When I check my voicemail, you guys, there's a message from my old school. They were like, we have a check here waiting for you. We have a check here waiting for you. I was like, okay. So like I called them back. I think I called them back, or I just went. So I went to the school. I picked up the check. The check was more than enough to cover the deposits in the first couple of months. I got that phone call the minute I walked to that place. God had provided the finances just because I moved and I was obedient. But here's the part. I'm still unsure about if I'm going to be able to keep up that, because I have to rebuild my whole clientele, and I've only been doing that for a month and a half. Again, you got to really think about things before you make a decision, because I was locked into a contract. So I remember calling my mom, and I'm like, the place I'm at, it's amazing. It's nice. It's nice on the inside, and they're redoing the outside right now. They're bringing in, like, there was like a whole nother section. They're bringing in a chef who's gonna be like cooking up like snacks and stuff, like for their different areas. I'm like, this is gonna be really cool. They're gonna have like outdoor seating outside, so it's gonna be a really prime location to be. And some of the other people in like other rooms that they have rented, they also worked in like nonprofits. And again, at the time, I'm also working a lot in a nonprofit. Not the nonprofits that get paid. We were still in the very beginning stages, so it was just us. And side note, when we went to an event, and there's been people who were doing like nonprofits for years and years, and we're like, how have y'all been doing this like full time? totally didn't realize that people get paid if the nonprofit is bringing enough. But that wasn't the point. But yeah, so I was working nonprofits as well on top of all of this. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are my people. These people are doing nonprofits. They're bringing in, the inside was already nice. They're redoing the outside. They're adding in all these cool features. I'm like, this is a perfect place to be. And the rent's amazing. Then I remember telling my mom that. And then I was like, well, this other place is literally in like the best location. It's downtown, and like the apartments across the street and around it, they're very expensive apartments. Like if you were to buy one, that would be like $1 million property, like apartment. And it's near like the boat marinas. It's in a very great location. So I'm like really, really torn between the two decisions. And so I remember talking to her, and I made a decision by myself. I was talking to my mom, and when I was explaining to her, I told her, I said, the place I'm at is exactly what I want. When I said that, I was like, okay, mom, I know my decision. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, I know my decision. I said, this place is exactly what I want. The fact that it's exactly what I want, I know it's not from God. It can be from God because, one, his ways are not my ways. His thoughts are not my thoughts. Like, his ways are higher. So why would I stay in a place where it's exactly what I want and everything that I want? So the fact that it was everything that I wanted, I knew there really was no room for growth, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, it's everything that I wanted. If I go to the next place, it'll be challenging and I'll be a little uncomfortable. But then I will have to really go through. I would have to grow. Like, God is challenging me. He's challenging me in a different way where I have to adjust and learn how to grow even more in a bigger environment. Because again, when God takes you and he elevates you, he's not just going to put you in the penthouse suite and be like, okay, well, you got to take care of this on your own. No, he's going to take you step by step. He's going to put you in a situation, make sure you can do that. He's going to elevate you where again, you're not going to struggle, but you're going to like have to work to make sure you can fit in that. And then he's going to keep elevating you and elevating you, elevating you until his desire. That's how I made that decision, decided to move. He had already blessed me with the finances and everything else was working out. And my name somehow ended up on top of this list. That's how I made that decision. If you're ever unsure about a situation and it feels rushed, and it's exactly what you want, the situation may not be from God. And you may need to go deeper into prayer and figure out what he's calling you to do. Also at this time, this is when I really started praying and fasting. So yeah, I remember in January is when I did like a week-long Daniel fast. And then through the rest of that year, I changed and like I was really just praying and fasting because God had me in such a uncomfortable season that I needed to dive into him and just make sure that I was hearing him and understanding where he was taking me, because I was in a season unlike any season before, and I know a lot of you are going through transitional seasons. Make sure you listen to God and you ask him what you need to take out, what needs to happen in this time. Go for that clarification. You don't want to end up in a situation that is below where he wants to take you, because again, you may end up where he wants to take you, but it's going to take longer if you decided to stay planted first. But I hope this message blessed somebody. Just know that if you're in a situation, God will make it possible. I have so many testimonies, especially financial testimonies, where God has made a way. He has made me victorious in a situation. Just by moving, you have to move in faith though. I've never seen it. The moment I moved, God was like, okay, she trusts me. I got her. And he made it possible, you guys. But until next time, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you later.